beat us down. They're trying to force us down into submission.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another edition of NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel. As I mentioned in the previous video, I am trying to reach a goal of 30,000 subscribers by June 1st. So if you guys could do me a huge favor, just please post a link to the YouTube channel on Facebook and Twitter, whatever you can do to help spread the word about NoDQ&A video, and I really do appreciate all the support from you guys. With that being said, let's get right down to your questions. First one today comes from Matt Olette Music. Aaron, what did you make of all these rumors about The Rock faking an injury and leaving WWE on bad terms? Would you like to take this time to alert these people that there's also no fake Ultimate Warrior and that the original one didn't die in the mid-90s? I'm not quite sure where these rumors came from. I did read them. I guess that the story is that The Rock was going to beat John Cena at WrestleMania, and then WWE changed plans on him at the last minute and double-crossed him or whatever. I think that these rumors are absolutely ridiculous. It's been known for months, you know, ever since the match was first announced or even rumored about. It was being said that The Rock would put over John Cena and John Cena would get his win back and get his redemption. That's what the whole storyline was about. And you know, The Rock had plans for after WrestleMania. He was going to set up a feud with Brock Lesnar leading into either SummerSlam or WrestleMania. So to think that he would fake an injury just to have an excuse to leave, I mean, come on now. The Rock's not going to do something like that, and the guy is really hurt. And of course, he's not going to show it in public. He's not going to, you know, let people know that he's really hurting. But I mean, that's the fact right now, and he needs to take it easy for a little bit. He's got movie roles coming up, and you know, he can't jeopardize his health right now. All right, this one comes from Basic Thugonomics. Hey Aaron, ever since Booker T was inducted into WWE's Hall of Fame, there have been many fans online saying that Booker T doesn't deserve the induction. What do you think about that? Please answer in video. Once again, where is this coming from? I mean, who said that Booker T doesn't deserve the induction? If anything, I think that the vast majority of fans are thrilled that Booker T got into the Hall of Fame. And you know what? The Hall of Fame was at Madison Square Garden, and those fans are online fans. And they gave Booker T a huge ovation, and they were cheering for him like crazy. So I think that that's a good indication of who the online fans think deserve to be in the Hall of Fame and who they think don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. You look at the reactions from Madison Square Garden, and the only guy that people booed is Donald Trump. So to me, that says that the online fans feel that Donald Trump was the main guy that they felt didn't deserve to go into the Hall of Fame. And even I kind of disagree with that. I've talked about it before, but you know, that's a different question and answer there, or a different topic. Yeah, I think that most fans are happy that Booker T's in the Hall of Fame, and I'm definitely one of them. All right, this one comes from Luke. How long do you think Dolph Ziggler's title reign will last, and do you see Hulk Hogan fighting Bully Ray anytime soon? I hope not. Well, I mentioned Dolph Ziggler in previous videos. I'm hoping it lasts a long time, but realistically, it would not surprise me to see his title reign end either at Extreme Rules or at the pay-per-view after that. I just don't see it being a long-term title reign, knowing how WWE operates. But I'm really crossing my fingers and hoping that he has a lengthy title reign. And as far as Hulk Hogan fighting Bully Ray, unfortunately, that looks like the direction TNA is going in. Hulk Hogan has hinted at wanting to have one run with the TNA World title. And, you know, Slammiversary is in Boston. It's Hulk Hogan country. Bully Ray already beat Jeff Hardy now, so Hulk Hogan's the next step. And the whole storyline is being built around Hulk Hogan and Brooke Hogan and Bully Ray, that whole triangle there. So, yeah, I mean, would not surprise me at all to see Hulk Hogan fight Bully Ray and even win the title. I mean, I don't think it should be happening, but you know what? TNA feels that that's going to be a big special moment. Hulk Hogan in Boston in his backyard, beating Bully Ray and winning the title. All right, this one comes from Alex Lev. Do you think John Cena should get another finishing move? I know he has the STF, but he hasn't beaten anybody with that in a long time. I feel like an alternate finisher besides the AA would add a bit more entertainment to his matches. I don't really see the point in him adding another finisher. I think that the two main finishers are good enough. He has the attitude adjustment as a pinfall, and then the STF as a submission. You know what? That's what everybody associates John Cena with, those two moves. And just like people associate Hulk Hogan with a leg drop and Steve Austin with the stunner, it's his trademark. Adding a third finisher, I think, would be a bit of a bit overkill. I really don't think it's necessary. All right, this one comes from Shakib Hassan. Hey Aaron, love your show. I want to know, how do you think Batista will return, and if he does, will he help bring more ratings to the show? There's been talk about Batista returning for years, and it hasn't happened. Batista's getting into his mid-40s now, so I do think he will return at some point. I think that, there's a lot of money to be made, and Batista's getting up there. He's not going to be able to do big matches for much longer. Now, maybe he will not come back on a full-time basis. In fact, I think it's more likely if he does return, it'll be similar to how Brock Lesnar has returned, coming back and having a big match every now and then. I mean, honestly, there's not a lot of big matches that Batista can do. I think the biggest match you could do with him would be Batista versus Brock Lesnar, but, we've already seen Batista versus Undertaker. We've already seen Batista versus John Cena. We've already seen Batista versus Randy Orton. So there's really not a whole lot he can do. So I think if you do bring him back, it would be best to bring him back on a limited basis and have him do something similar to what Brock Lesnar is doing. And will he bring more ratings to the show? I think that, once again, if you bring him back and have him compete every now and then, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, I think he would help the ratings and would help the pay-per-view buy rates a little bit. Especially, if they do a Brock Lesnar versus Batista match, I think that would have potential to do a huge buy rate. All right, this one comes from Scott Ward. Hey Aaron, I don't watch TNA anymore, but I always have been so impressed by Gunner. What are your thoughts on him? I think TNA should push him to the top. To be honest with you, I've never saw all that much in Gunner. I think that, you know what, I'm sure he's a nice guy and all, but nothing about him really stands out to me. I mean, his look is very generic. His mic skills, same thing. I mean, everything about him to me is just average. Now, maybe it's a problem with TNA. Maybe they don't know how to market him properly or find out a good gimmick for him. I don't know. But from what I've seen in TNA, I mean, he's just another guy on the roster to me. All right, this one comes from Frank Alamoda. Another question for you, Aaron. Am I remembering wrong here, or didn't Chris Benoit win the title on his last WCW appearance before leaving for WWE? I know the Radicals walked out on contracts and all, but I, for some reason, think that Benoit won the title and then left. Yeah, that whole pay-per-view, it was sold out 2000. That was a disaster for WCW. Originally, it was scheduled to be Chris Benoit versus Jeff Jarrett for the U.S. title, a 3 stages of hell type match. I think it was called the Triple Threat Theater or something like that. And then Bret Hart was going to face Sid for the world title. And then what happened was Bret Hart found out he had a concussion from Starrcade and he could not wrestle anymore. And then right before the pay-per-view, Jeff Jarrett got injured as well. So WCW had to change plans, and I guess they booked Chris Benoit versus Sid, and they wanted to do, they had to have a new champion crowned. So they decided to go with Chris Benoit, but then, there was a whole bunch of turmoil backstage, and, a whole bunch of guys wanted to leave, and Benoit, Guerrero, Saturn, Malenko, they left. They had the opportunity to leave, and they took it. And Chris Benoit left despite winning the world title. So that was definitely a very bad day in WCW history. I mean, that was the beginning of the end, I think, for them. I mean, perhaps they could have been salvaged, but once they lost the Radicals, I mean, those were 4 really talented guys. That was a huge, huge blow to WCW. All right, last question today. Do you think the GM gimmick has run its course? I thought Foley and Bischoff were good in the role, but it gets annoying now whenever there's a heated back-and-forth promo and then all of a sudden it's "excuse me" or Booker T's music hits. Your thoughts? I definitely think that the GM role has been overdone over the years, and I do think that WWE has toned down on it a bit. I mean, back during Bischoff's run, he would come out and he would have promo time, and then he would be involved in storylines, and Vicky just comes out and makes matches now. She's not really involved in the storylines. And same thing with Booker T. You know, I think WWE likes to have an authority figure on television, but you know, I do think that they have realized that it's been a bit overdone, and I do feel that they've cut back on it a bit. I don't think that Booker T and Vicky have been on TV quite as much as they were in the past. And you know, I think you can have a GM around. I just think that yeah, you don't want to, you know, especially the heel GM. I think has really been done to death, and I'm glad that they're not doing that right now. You know, Vicky, I guess she's a heel. I mean, she just comes out and makes matches. But you know, I like how they're handling the GM gimmick at the moment. I think it's fine what they're doing. Alright, that'll do it for this edition of NoDQ&A video. As I mentioned earlier, please spread the word about this video and the YouTube channel. I'm trying to reach 30,000 subscribers by June 1st. And you can ask questions for NoDQ&A video at ask.fm/AaronRift. And of course, stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest in WWE and TNA. And I'll see you next time.